spared no expense digging into the new details of Jurassic World 2 on today's Nerdist News. Jurassic World 2 is rampaging its way into theaters next summer, and over the last few days, details have started to emerge about the plot, giving us a better idea about what we can expect from the most anticipated sequel in 65 million years. So we're gonna break down all the big developments right here, starting with the return of everyone's favorite sexily stammering scientist. Woo! Yes, dour Disneyland expert Dr. Ian Malcolm will be returning to the park in Jurassic World 2. Now, the last time we saw our dear Dr. Malcolm was 20 years ago in The Lost World, when he was unveiling San Diego's second most dangerous animal attraction. But we actually did get a brief glimpse at what he's been up to since the first Jurassic World. If you look closely at the desk of control room operator Lowry Crothers, you'll notice that he has a copy of the book God Creates Dinosaurs, authored by none other than Dr. Malcolm himself. This obviously makes us really hope that Dr. Ellie Sattler penned a response book titled Dinosaurs Eat Man, Woman Inherits the Earth. But it also makes us wonder about what Malcolm's current status in the Jurassic verse is. If you'll remember, in The Lost World, the character had become a bit of a laughingstock after publishing books about his Dino Island adventure, an adventure that InGen had entirely covered up. Now, Jurassic World went out of its way to not specifically reference anything that happened in The Lost World or Jurassic Park 3, while still not writing those films entirely out of continuity. But by bringing Malcolm back into the mix, it seems like they'll have to make a hard decision on the matter. Is God Creates Dinosaurs one of the books he wrote between the events of Jurassic Park and The Lost World, or is it a newer book that he wrote in response to the opening of Jurassic World? And more pressingly, did the events of The Lost World even happen in the world of Jurassic World? After all, it's hard to imagine that Malcolm could end up face to face with another T-Rex without at least casually mentioning the time one of them chased him through the Gaslamp District. Now, one huge part of what made Jurassic Park so special is something they'll never be able to truly recreate: Sir Richard Attenborough as park founder John Hammond. Attenborough sadly passed away a few years ago, and his childlike sense of wonder is something that will be sorely missed from all of these films moving forward. But it does seem like the producers are at least trying to find a stand-in for him with the casting of James Cromwell as Benjamin Lockwood, an old partner of Hammond's, who helped develop the cloning technology that eventually gave birth to the 21st century dinos. How strange that we've never heard of this Lockwood character before. But to be fair, I guess you'd maybe distance yourself from your work once you found out it was responsible for a bunch of people getting eaten. Anyways, in reality, it seems pretty obvious that Lockwood is little more than a workaround for not actually being able to involve Attenborough in the plot. I mean, just look at this pic of Cromwell. It looks like this guy is just doing John Hammond cosplay in his day-to-day life. And you know what? It ain't that bad. Like, that would actually probably win you a runner-up trophy at WonderCon. But still, we can't help but wonder if this is going to feel weird in the final film. Cromwell is a great actor, but Attenborough is irreplaceable. It's already hard to watch these movies without him. Shoving a direct comparison in our face may just end up being distracting. But in slightly less discouraging casting news, we found out who will be taking on the exciting role of submarine pilot. Woo! Yeah! Now, if you don't know who that character is, don't worry. He's a new addition to the franchise, and he will be played by actor Kevin Lane, as Lane announced in a recent interview. Now, obviously, we don't really care about the casting here. What we care about is that Jurassic World 2 is apparently gonna have motherfucking submarines in it. A dino submarine fight sounds friggin' sick! But it also gets us wondering about what kind of submarine we're talking about here. Is this like a dinky little submarine ride or the real deal? Well, since it seems unlikely that the park will reopen any rides after the events of the last film, that probably means this is gonna be a for real sub, and that this will also tie into the continuing themes of dinosaurs being utilized for military purposes that were first started in Jurassic World. All in all, these are sparse but exciting details that are starting to give us a better idea of what we'll see when Jurassic World reopens its gates next summer. It really feels like we're about to get our first mostly off-island adventure, taking us to different parts of the world as opposed to one centralized location, almost like a dino disaster film instead of the adventure movie molds of the first four. It could be a very cool change-up that will inject some cool new DNA into the JP formula. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for the return of Jeff Goldblum's sweaty chest?
Yes!
Matt says yes. Do you think anyone could ever replace Sir Richard Attenborough? And who would you have cast in the classic role of submarine pilot? Let's discuss. Did you ever wonder if the Attack on Titan 3D maneuver gear would be too deadly for humans? Well, if you have, Kyle has the answer on an all-new Because Science. Be sure to like and subscribe and keep checking Nerdist.com.